All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a custom asset in Enscape. So what I want you to do is essentially, obviously you have built something, and then make sure that you've assigned materials to it. Doesn't matter what the materials are. I mean, if it's glass, I would make it glass just because they'll come in to Enscape naturally. The rest you'll have to assign here in a second. So, all right, we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to export selected with origin. So it's going to allow me to select an origin location. And it doesn't really matter, just make sure it's near the object. Um, yeah. And then I am going to, that'll be an asset. I'm going to do it as, I think I had most luck with doing FBX. So let's look for that. Oh, here we go. FBX. Okay, and we're going to call this a custom. I don't know what this is. Custom table. It's not just a table, but there you go. Save. So all that default is good. Go with more polygons to begin with and say OK. All right, now we're going to do it all over again. Remember where you have your origin. Select the same point. And we're going to call this one, we can call it lo-fi, sure. It's basically low resolution is what we're talking about. Same default, only this time you're going to go with fewer polygons. If you really need to get into it and you want to see exactly what you're doing, you can do here and kind of maximize, minimize as needed. But we're just going to try the fewer for now. Keep it simple. All right, cool. We got those two things made. Now we're going to open up Inscape. Here. I'm going to go to Assets. You can see I've already built one. If you haven't already, once you turn on once you hit this plus sign, you're going to get a dialog that's much like this. So the project directory, well, more than likely, at least what I've done is I've made it, my class directory. So it's, ARC310, IARC310, and assignments, blah, 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 blah. And then the next one, I've found a place on my hard drive that I have some space. So those are the two things that you'll get. I don't need to save, but you'll save. And then once you do that, you'll get this dialog. Okay, so now we're going to, it's a little laggy at the beginning, it's weird. We're going to import geometry. We're going to do this one, the higher res. Boy, there's not much difference. I don't have, that piece is rectilinear. If I had some cylinders, something that has a lot more facets, it would be a little bit heavier. But this one, pretty light. All right, I'm going to go ahead and give it, it's a custom category. If you don't have that, what you do is you just go in here and you can kind of pick, what do I have here? Kind of a piece of furniture. Oh, it's kind of a table actually. So we'll say custom table. Again, it's more of a table, but there you go. All right, so you can see that it brought in, oof. All right, we have some issues. We have some issues. We have one issue is the scaling. This is in meters. Enscape works in meters. And so what it's done is it's imported this thing really big. So we need to convert this to meters. So I need to figure out what that would be. So let's see. I'll deal with that here in a second. I think the other thing we have to deal with is that this is a strange location, and it appears like it might have some extra. Okay, there you go. Okay, so Z is going to be our up axis, so you can change that on the fly. And what we'll probably end up doing is we're going to save it here, and then we're going to, whoa, it is having a rough time because this is so large, it doesn't even know what to do with it. So I'm just going to, you have to save a thumbnail before you save your export. And this is just kind of a lesson of what not to do. So I'm going to save that. It's saved. I'm going to close it. You'll see it kind of this weird thing show up. I'm going to go back into Rhino world. I'm just going to find out, you know, how big this really is. So maybe hit this. And I'll turn on project so I can kind of get a sense. Do a distance from here to there is 11 feet. So that would be roughly, 3 meters and change, maybe. Yeah, hang on. Even better, I'm just going to put a bounding box around the whole thing because that's essentially what it's doing. Is it's giving you the full dimension. So if I just create this dummy bounding box and then measure from corner to corner, 11'8". Okay, so then 11'8 3/4. All right, let's okay. Foot 8. .3528. Okay. All right, so we'll use that. I mean, the other thing you could do is you could convert the whole thing, this whole model to meters and then do this, but you know, to each their own, right? So I'm going to edit this, and now I'm going to change this dimension. Remember, that's my height, to that 3.3528. It changed everything else. You lost the view. If you lose the view, you should be able to double click on side of it if you have it anywhere, but see, it's shrunk so far that I can't find it. I don't know if any of these, yeah, I don't see any of those going to help me. So I don't have a number lock keypad, a numbers keypad on my keyboard because I'm on my laptop. So what I've done is I've turned on this on-screen keyboard. You can just get to it by typing in keyboard down here, and you'll see it shows up on-screen keyboard. And then if you still don't have it, you just turn your options on, and you click on turn on numeric keypad. And then if you still don't have it, you click on this numlocks, and it goes to that. All right, all that was essentially so that you can, if if you click on the Enscape, you can turn on these views. It basically does orthographic views, so it gets you to a place where you can see your object. So there you go. There's my object. Can't see the glass, but that's all right. All right, so that's what I want. I'm going to save that. All right, so now we have to mess with the glass. We have to mess with the metal. I think the glass should come in okay. We're just going to go and check it. If we wanted to give it a tint, which actually that could be kind of cool. Maybe a little blue. Oh, maybe I have to do blue here. All right, you can just see a hint of blue. That's cool. We'll go frosted glass. All right. All right, and then metal, whatever metal color we wanted. Gray. Maybe a little bit of reflection, a little roughness. That should work. And then the walnut, this is where we get into something that I want you guys to think about. So I think it's called, yeah, textures.com. So in textures.com, you can download. If you've ever seen any of your materials look very patchy, Revit's terrible. They're like concrete. It looks tiled and it doesn't look. It's not the right color and it's just kind of crummy. Textures.com has a lot of seamless materials, and seamless means that you wouldn't see that kind of tiling pattern. So I would recommend, I mean, obviously it can cost. You get 15 free, I think it's a day, but maybe it's total. And I would say for 3D applications, you're not going to need more than 15 as long as you don't go insane. And if you do, then maybe you can get them. So I'm going to type in walnut. I'm going to grab, this walnut color. And you can see that it has free. It also has, so I mean, I think I'm just going to always use the free. I mean, I don't need it to go crazy. So, and you can also then see that it has the roughness. So I'm going to download this. That's for roughness. I have a materials place. And I'm going to download the actual image. Okay. And then, so that, this gives you kind of what you want. So if now I go back and do Inscape, and now it has kind of, okay, I guess it automatically grabbed it. I don't know why I did that. And I'm going to use the texture here. Yep. Okay. Amazing. Great. So it's already in here. So the albedo and then the bump. Okay. And so there you go. Nice. Sweet. Okay, so we could just save this. Now, what I haven't figured out, and I don't think it's actually possible, is to add a light source. I've tried it several times and it just will not do it. So what you end up doing, so let's just go back into our Rhino. At this point, I could start placing these in Revit. That's the cool thing. It's like it's there. Now it's an asset that I have. So I could do that. So maybe we should. So let's go into Revit. And we'll go maybe to the little one. And let's go and place this guy. So go to Enscape. I'll have to get some chairs to figure out whether or not I like kind of where this is at the moment. But I think we got the basics. Okay, they're all pretty well aligned. It's relatively evenly spaced out. Okay, so they're in place. Now here's the tricky part. You see how it is this weird kind of blob? Well, that's because, and we'll go back into Rhino so we can see this. Let's go back into this, we'll edit it. What it does is it puts a bounding box around the shape as a placeholder geometry so that when you're in Revit or Rhino, it's not taking up a lot of resources for rendering. But what you can do if you want to just get a little bit of a lighter model in there, and this one we've already kind of shown that it's relatively the same. So here it might not make as much difference, but I can put a lighter, but if I had like a 5000K and then also a 165K, you can see there'd be a huge kind of relief on modeling. So I can then, I can put that in, I can show in preview, this is how it'll look. So it's just a kind of very minutely different version of it. And then maybe also to go leave that. Go back into Revit world. I found that it sometimes is a little bit laggy. I might even need to drag one in. Okay, so once I drag it in, it shows up. So there you go. You can start to make your custom assets. Obviously, these are not, I need to move them all a little bit in a little bit. But let's finish off. Let's see. And I'd have to find something to support these guys, but I don't know. I don't have, this is just demo. All right, so now you're wondering, well, what about the light? Well, that is somewhat of a problem. So what you're going to do there is you're going to insert a light source into these. So what we're going to do is basically light fixture, open, make sure it's the right type, okay, and that's it. We're going to save this as a family in here as just a spherical and wish I could type. We're going to insert it into the family. What we'll have to do is we'll have to get it at the right level and make sure that it shows up. Let's see. See where we might have to go to the 3D view. Or I still don't see it. Let's make sure that light sources are going to show up. Okay. Same with here. That's something I might have to turn on and off. Okay. All right, so we need to just make sure that it's going to show up. This is 6 feet off the ground. Nope. Let's say 4 feet. 2 feet. 1 and 8. Boom. Okay. I cannot see what I'm doing. So I need to change my view range to be higher. So this space is 6 feet. Okay. All right. Now I'm just going to copy that. And let's go into Inscape.